The Holy Gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ according to John. When Jesus saw Nathanael coming of him, he is truly an Israelite in whom there is no deceit. Ask him, where did you get? Jesus answered, I saw you on the way before I called you. Nathanael replied, Rabbi, you are the Son of God, the King of Israel. Jesus answered, do you believe because I told you that I saw you under the fig tree? You will see greater things than these. And he said to him, very truly I tell you, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man. The Gospel of the Lord. The Father, and of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Good morning, my brothers and sisters in church, my brothers and sisters in the platform, wherever you might be. Good morning and welcome. This morning I feel so blessed that I received the prayer, and people at the beginning of the service, they offered prayer for me. So it is something sometimes a priest, we might forget that we need prayer as well. And sometimes we don't remember that we need help. And we help the people of God understand that they are only the one who needs prayer from the priest, and the priest doesn't need prayer from them. So thank you very much. That was a great reminder. We are all in it together. So you will support me, I will support you in prayer. Thank you very much. And this morning I want to thank the youth who are orchestrating this service this morning, since it is the Youth Sunday. I was so amazed to see how devoted they were, how they came early to prepare the bulletin, and also they made some requests as well. And I remember Andrew told me, Father Sully, are you going to sing? And then I said, Andrew, I don't sing, you know that. And he talked to his sister Elizabeth, said, yes, you can sing. I said, okay, I will try. But if he doesn't go well, you're in charge. Blame on you. So is the blame on them? Did you hear me singing? Should we blame them? Should we encourage them? Okay, great. Good job. Thank you. But don't ask me for that every day. So today we celebrate the feast of Saint Michael, the archangels, and all the angels. And this morning, my sermon the title of my sermon goes like this. He will appoint angels to show you the way. Did you hear that? He will appoint angels to show you the way. Do we always see the way? Do we always know where we're going? Are we not lost sometimes? Confused? But the message this morning goes like this. He will appoint his angels to show you the way. A few years ago, my brothers and sisters, I was on a trip driving from Long Island to Buffalo, New York. It was 8 p.m. and I was still over 100 miles away from my destination. It was cold, rainy, dark, and the road was slippery. It was no longer safe for me to drive because I could not see. I could not see the way forward. I was afraid for my life because that was not an environment I'm familiar with. I stopped by the first motel I reached to spend the night. But that motel was fully booked. I had no choice but to continue to drive until I reached the next one. And I was there, and I was leaving that motel that was fully booked hopelessly because I did not know where and how I will be able to find another one because the road is not clear. And all of a sudden, a woman who happened to stay at that motel that night intervened in my favor and talked to the front desk guy. She explained she was on the road earlier that day and knew how bad the driving conditions were. So she implored the front desk guy to do whatever he could to help me. But when you have no room, what can you do? Nothing. And the front desk guy listened to her and started, since he had no room, there is no other solutions, and he started calling around some motel and hotel where I could go and spend the night because it was not safe and I could not see. So he listened to her and called some nearby motel and hotel and found a room in one of them for me. And at that time, I was using the hotel, they said it's about 3 miles. 3 miles away, it's nothing. But guess what? 3 miles on a road that you don't know, on a dark, slippery road, it's a long time. It's a long drive. And at that time, guess what I was using? I was not using GPS. Sorry, Elizabeth. Sorry, Andrew. I was not using GPS. I was using MapQuest. MapQuest doesn't talk. MapQuest doesn't tell us when the turns are. And then it was, even though it was 3 miles away, it was still a dangerous thing to do when the road was so dark. And guess what? They understood that. Someone who was working at that motel, who was familiar with the road, offered to drive ahead of me, to show me the way forward and ensure that I was safe and secure. Long story short, I spent the night at the motel and continued my trip the following day. That morning, it was a great morning to wake up and say, I was safe and secure. And this morning, my brothers and sisters, if you ask me, if you come to church with any doubt about the existence of angels, I'm here to tell you, yes, they exist, they are active, and they are working, and I have met a few in my life. I'm here to tell you, I have met at least 2 angels that night. The first angel, you can guess, was the woman who interceded for me, even though she did not know me. The second angel was the one who accepted to drive ahead of me. He did not know me either, but I can understand they were my angels. They were God sent. They were God apprentices. They were God's messengers and God's workers. God appointed them that night to help me, to defend me, and show me the way, which is what angels do. This is what holy angels do in our lives, my brothers and sisters. And that leads me to the first reading today from the book of Genesis. Do you have your bulletin? I want you to be with me and to pay close attention. In the first lesson from the book of Genesis, Jacob left Beersheba and went toward where? Toward Haran. I'm happy you are with me. Toward Haran. And remember, Jacob was fleeing his brother Esau, who wanted to kill him because Jacob had tricked his father Isaac and stolen the blessing intended for whom? For Esau. So he came to a certain, the text said, he came to a certain place and stayed there for the night. You know why he stayed for the night? Because the sun had set. And we need to understand the sun had set. It's me? Is it me? We need to understand the sun had set. It is not just the time of the night, of the day. It is more than that. The sun had set outside of Jacob, and the sun had set inside of Jacob as well. He came to that point where the sun had set in his life, the sun had set inside of him and outside of him. Jacob, because Jacob was going through a difficult and dark season of his life. Jacob, we can imagine, was tired. Jacob was guilty. Jacob was afraid. Jacob was running away for his life. Jacob, while he was running running fast, running away. At the same time, he got stuck because he was tired. Can you imagine at the same time you're running, you get tired, you get stuck? That's where your struggle begins. Have you ever felt in your life that you are running, trying to run, and at the same time so many forces pulling you back, and you get stuck and you're still struggling? That's what. And you cannot see forward, you cannot move forward because you get stuck. And it was in that place where Jacob got stuck. And he said, I'm trying to run. It looks like I got stuck. I cannot move. I have so many forces against me, including the force of guilt inside of me holds me back. And Jacob said, I need to take a rest. And the text continues to say, Jacob then took one of what? One of the stone of the place. My brothers and sisters, when you are running away, you are tired, you are guilty, you feel guilty, whatever you are going through, you feel sad, you feel like you are going through your darkest night. Pay attention to the stones, because God always is ahead of you, prepare a stone for you. And you need to find out, you need not to go crazy. In the middle of the storm, in the middle of the hurricanes, there is always a stone, and pay attention to that stone. Pay attention to those stones, and you will find the one that God has prepared for you to spend the night. I'm wondering how many of you might be today in that place where you get tired, where you feel guilty and you need some rest. Have you seen a stone? You need a stone. And look around among the stones and find the one God has prepared for you. It's there. And he put that stone under his head and lay down in that place. With that stone, my brothers and sisters, he got himself ready for a rest. With that stone, my brothers and sisters, he got himself ready for a dream. With that stone, my brothers and sisters, he got himself ready for a message. With that stone, my brothers and sisters, he got himself ready to see the way forward. And that's when, as he was sleeping, resting, and the text said, he dreamed that there was what? So, and he dreamed that there was a ladder set up on the earth. And when we see the ladder, and he explained that ladder set up on the earth, the top of it was reaching what? To heaven. And the bottom of it reaching earth. So therefore, and he saw what? Angels of God. Be careful. Angels of God, because there are so many kinds of angels. Angels of God were ascending and descending on it. So, my brothers and sisters, that ladder, who came into the world to reconcile earth with heaven, to connect earth with heaven, to connect God and human being? Jesus. So it is already the presence, that ladder, in that ladder, we see already the presence of Jesus.
And also on that ladder, we see angels were busy, and the good angels, the holy angels. And angels, my brothers and sisters, they are angels of God. They are God's workers. They are God's appointees, God's messengers. So therefore, when you see messengers, there are signs that God is about to deliver a message. And effectively, God was about to deliver an important message to Jacob. Therefore, God was about to talk to Jacob, to give him hope, to give him clarity, to give him direction, to show him the way forward, to tell him, I am with you, do not be afraid. And the Lord, my brothers and sisters, continue after all this. He saw the Lord continue talking, stood beside him and said, what did he say? Could you please help me? I am the Lord, the God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie, I will give to you and your offspring. And your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south. And all the families of the earth shall be blessed in you and your offspring. So this is what God came and said to Jacob. While Jacob was at his lowest point in his darkest season of his life, the Lord came and reiterated his promises, I am with you. The Lord knew, my brothers and sisters, and understood what Jacob was going through. He understood, he knew and understood that Jacob was tired, that Jacob was guilty, that Jacob was afraid, that Jacob was running and at the same time get stuck. And he knew Jacob couldn't move forward because he could not see the way forward. And he came to retrieve him, to rescue him, to say, I am with you. And sometimes the spirit that is renewed in you, this is what gives you the strength, the courage to continue on your journey. Even though you may not see, but you believe, you know that God, the one who says to you, I will be with you, will effectively be with you. And he came to let him know that he was still faithful with him. He was still faithfully with him. And he said, know, Jacob, that I am with you and will keep you wherever you go. What, my brothers and sisters, God is saying, I will be with you whatever happens to you. Jacob, do not be afraid. I know you are guilty. I know you're feeling. I know you are going through a dark time. But no, I will be with you. What a wonderful message to suddenly, undeservedly, and unexpectedly receive in your life. While you are going through so much, while thing is too much, you are about to give up. And to hear that voice who said, I am with you, suddenly. This is how God works. This is how he appointed his angels to do. This is what he appoints them to do, to send them to come to you, to help and rescue us. Though Jacob was a guilty man, my brothers and sisters, the Lord agreed to go with him through the pits, through the waters, through the fires, through sickness, through the valley of the shadow of death. Sometimes we really feel we are sitting in the valley of the shadow of death. And God comes to say, even there, I am with you. Through waters he might have, to whatever you are going through, I will be with you. He will be with Jacob to rescue him, to restore him, because our God, my brothers and sisters, is a God of restoration. Remember that. Our God is a God of restoration. Our God is a God who rescues. Our God is a God who shows up when we are in trouble. Now, my brothers and sisters, are you telling me that the God that Jacob served and the God who saved Jacob and the God Jacob was serving, are you telling me that God is different from the God that St. Gabriel's church in Hollis is serving? If this is what you believe, raise your hand. Do you believe that God who saved, rescued, who restored Jacob is different from the God we are serving? Are you telling me that God cannot restore St. Gabriel's, our church, set us back on track, drive ahead of us, give us direction, and show us the way forward again? Are you telling me something different? Are you serving a different God that I don't know? A different God from Jacob? Is not our God the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow? If he is, we need to keep believing that God is about to restore us. God is at work. God will send his angels ahead of us. And God is capable. He is able. In the book of Revelation, the second reading today, is what we saw. We saw and we read war broke out where? In heaven. Broke out in heaven. Who was there? Michael and his angels. What they were doing? They fought against the dragon. Hey, the dragon and his angels, what did they do? They fought back. The devil is going to fight back. So that's why, because the devil will not accept loss. The devil doesn't understand loss. They will keep fighting. But what happened? They were defeated. And there was no longer any place for them in heaven. So there was a battle. There was a fight. The bad angels were defeated. So now, where are they? The great dragon, yes, follow me close. The great dragon was thrown down. That ancient serpent. Why they say ancient serpent? So does that remind us of anything? So you remember in the garden, the deceiver? You remember in the garden that serpent? So the ancient serpent, who is called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world, he was thrown down to the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. Wait a minute. It's not over. We have some bad news here. We have some bad news, serious bad news here. Because the great dragon, though already defeated, is still on earth with his angels. That there is another army. There is a bad army on earth. Are you walking to see them? Are you walking around? Have you ever seen a devil, a Satan, a snake, and things like that? The serpent? Have you ever seen them around? So, most likely, you will not see them with your eyes. But do they exist? Yes. So, the dragon and his angels, they are still on earth and they are still competing with God. That's the bad news. And where are they? We said they are on earth. And the dragon, the bad angels, they are still at work. And they are the little voice that come to you to keep telling you that since these things has happened to you, it is over. It is too late for restoration. You are too far done to come back up. There is no hope for you. There is no hope for anything. Your bones are too dry to come back to life. Your church is too small and too far gone for a comeback. That little voice that keeps you, my brothers and sisters, that keeps whispering to you that St. Gabriel is dwindling and dying. This is exactly the work of the dragon. This is exactly the work of the dragon and his angels. When you find yourself, my brothers and sisters, thinking that way, say to yourself, I'm under attack. Say to yourself and know that the great dragon and his angels are busy fighting you and that you need to call on Michael the archangel and his angels to help you fight against them. When I was a kid, my mother taught me some prayers. Do you still teach your children prayers? My mother taught me. And every night, and listen to that, it is every night you have to pray that prayer because the night can be in you, the night can be outside of you, and from time to time in our lives, we realize that the sun has set. It's dark. And when it is night, before we go to bed, my mom instructed me to pray that prayer to say, Holy archangels, and the answer, she will call the name, and she will ask me to say, to answer, defend us in our battles. Defend us against our dragons. Defend us against our bad angels. And another one after that came, she taught me also to call on the holy guardian angels. Do we pray holy guardian angels? We don't do that as Episcopalians, I think. But she asked me to do that. And religiously every night, I will pray, I will call on the holy guardian angels. And when they say the holy guardian angels, and the answer was, watch over me and protect me during that night because it is night. My brothers and sisters, it may not be a bad idea to continue to pray those prayers. Whenever we feel like the sun has set and that we are experiencing a season of darkness in our lives, it may not be a bad idea to call on God to send his angels, Michael the angel, to send St. Gabriel to help us. And this time, my brothers and sisters, we might say, it may appear to be, or it is, or maybe it looks like the sun has set a little bit. We don't see the light clearer. We might need to call on God to send the angels, Gabriel, our patron saint. In the gospel, my brothers and sisters, Nathanael had a conversation with Jesus. Nathanael replied, Rabbi, what did he say? You are the Son of God. You are the king of Israel. And Jesus answered him. He said, do you believe, Nathanael? Do you believe that I'm the Son of God? Do you believe that I'm the King of Israel? Because I said that to you? Because I told you that I saw you under the fig tree? If you believe this, Nathanael, you will see greater things than these. If you believe that I am the Son of God, if you believe that I am the King of Israel, you will see a lot. So therefore, on the way, even though it's dark, you will be able to walk, you will be able to travel, because you know the light of God will be with you. Because you believe. My brothers and sisters, when we believe, we unlock our power and possibility to see, to hope, and to know it is not over until God says it is. When we believe, we live with expectancy. When we believe, we don't live our lives feeling defeated or depressed, but believing that God is still on the throne, and he is on the throne for us, that Michael and his angels are still fighting and winning, and that our best days and years are not necessarily in the past when we had the 300 people sitting in church, or when we were able to pay our bills, but our best years, our best week, our best month, our best day can still be in front of us, can still be ahead of us, because it's not us doing it, it's God's doing. Because it is the power of God. God has power to restore what he wants, whatever and whoever he wants to restore. He has that power. Can we believe that? I want to conclude, my brothers and sisters, by telling you this morning the same thing Jesus said to Nathanael. Very truly, I tell you, if you believe in Jesus Christ as the Son of God, as the King of Israel, as the King of St. Gabriel's Church, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man, upon us, upon you, upon me, upon our congregation. We will receive messages. We will see the same ladder Jacob saw. We will see the Son of Man, Jesus. We will have clarity and better understanding. God will appoint his angel to show us the way. Then we will be on track for restorations. Amen.